Joyce Plummer from the Office of the Mayor, Project Director for Recast Baton Rouge, and it is my honor this afternoon to introduce your own Chancellor Willie Smith, Baton Rouge Community College. Welcome, Chancellor, to your own house.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm so excited to be in front of you guys. I did not know I was going to be asked to do any greetings this afternoon, but certainly want to welcome you to BRCC. I'm so excited about the recast and this fabulous event that we have had the last 3 days. And certainly want to say again, appreciation goes out to Dr. Plummer, certainly the mayor, city of Baton Rouge, for all his support in this initiative, all of the celebrities and guest speakers who have come to share about resiliency. And we need resiliency in our country, in our society, and the things that we do in education, and certainly higher education. And so I'm just thankful to be here. Hope you guys have enjoyed the recast initiative, and certainly hope you're going to enjoy the next speaker that's going to be coming up very, very soon. And we're excited to have you at BRCC. Look forward to next year recast, and certainly to make sure that beyond resilience, how we overcome all of the obstacles with Hurricane Ida, as well as the pandemic. So best of luck to all of you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Smith. Now, before we proceed with our guest speaker, we have another guest in the house who is responsible for working with our youth in Baton Rouge Police Department Community Services Division. Sergeant Elvin Howard has been working through Recast Baton Rouge for the last 3 years, bringing mentoring services and providing sports camps to disadvantaged youth in the parish of East Baton Rouge. And Sergeant Howard is going to share with you just a moment the work that he's doing. Sergeant Howard.
Good evening. I just want to say that I'm happy to be here for this summit. One of the things that Dr. Plummer came to me with several years ago is to create some programs that we could address situations of trauma and certain situations we went through. I don't know how many of you guys were here in 2016, but we had a lot of traumatic experiences during that time, from the floods, the shooting of Alton Sterling, and the ambush of police officers. And what we decided to do at the police department is create several programs to help address the traumas and the stressors that the youth were going through. And so we created soccer camps, basketball, boxing, and other sports camps. We even had dance camps that we started to help mentor kids and talk to them so they can understand what they were feeling and the stress that they were going through and why they may have been acting out the way that they were acting out. And as time progressed, this past year through another traumatic experience, COVID, I partnered with several community leaders like Nicole Scott from the Bridge Agency, and let's give her a hand, she's out there. And also Clay Young from the Police Foundation. And we decided to bring the PAL program, which is the Police Athletic League. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of it, but it's just as big as the Boys and Girls Club, and it's been around as long as that program. And we have a lot of sports stars, athletes, professional athletes that were PAL kids. So we decided to bring this program back to Baton Rouge, and I say back because it was here several years before I became a police officer back in the day. And we decided to bring this program back to Baton Rouge and surrounding parish, East Baton Rouge. And what we're going to do is try to similar to what the sports camps were doing, mentor kids, talk to them about the trauma that they're experiencing, and having the resilience to make it through the stresses and the traumas that they are dealing with, and not act out. So, and on top of that, we're going to just spend time with them, try to help build a relationship between community and law enforcement, so that overall the city will become a safer place to stay. So that's one of the things that the Baton Rouge Police Department and other surrounding community agencies are doing to try to help make cities safer and help build youth up so that they can become more productive citizens.
Thank you, Sergeant Howard. Now, for our guest speaker this afternoon, Jay Barnett, former pro athlete, current PhD student, has worked in the field of mental health and is helping men understand how to address issues that they face every day. I think the work that he is doing speaks for itself. So let me introduce to you Jay Barnett.
Check 1, 2. Hello? Oh, so it comes on when I walk out? Oh, wow. This is interesting. How y'all doing? I know it's a small crowd, but I'm going to act like it's a room full of people in here. I'm so excited to be here today. My first time being in Baton Rouge. I've been in Louisiana many, many different times, and I probably need to get... This is confusing. Okay, yeah, thank you. Now I feel like I'm a pastor. All right, turn your Bibles to Romans. I'm just teasing. Listen, I'm a different type of speaker. I talk about mental health. I'm a former pro athlete. I'm going to share a little bit of my story. I'll also share a little bit about the book that I just recently released for men. So let's see how I want to start this. The guys that are here, y'all baseball players? Yeah, y'all look like baseball players. You know, baseball players wear the guys wear the sleeves on their necks. You know, so the sleeves are like face coverings, in case you're wondering. And so that's why I kind of knew you guys were baseball players. So let's see where I want to start. Talking about mental health is really heavy work. And when you're talking about mental health, I like to make it light, but I also want to focus on honing in on different components that connects us to mental health. When you think about mental health, right, you think about your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being. Now, your mental health determines your quality of life, how you live life, how you see life, how you do life. So, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. You take a kid from Mississippi, 13 years old, just went through divorce. My father is a pastor. My parents divorced when I was 13. And my mother moved us from Mississippi to Texas. Moved to Texas to a predominantly white school. I've never seen so many white people all the days of my life when I walked into Grapevine High School. I grew up in Mississippi, so everything was segregated still. It was all black over here and all white. And you took a kid who had so much anger, that had so much frustration because I didn't really understand divorce because I loved my father, what he represented. He was a pastor, he's a good-looking guy, he played football, so all I wanted to do was to be just like him. And I didn't realize how much the divorce would affect me until I began to grow older. Now, some of you athletes are out there today, and I know that you're going to connect with this. One of the things that we tend to do as athletes is wherever our field of play is where we feel safe. You guys feel safe when you're on the diamond? You don't think about nothing else, do you? All you think about is baseball. All I would think about was football because it was my hiding place. My mother remarried. My stepfather is physically abusive, and I talked about this in one of my books, Hello King. And the abuse continued to grow because I was a muscular kid, and he was trying to prove to me how much of a man he was. So he would come in my bedroom at night and beat on me and tell me how much he was going to make me a man. But my mother never had any knowledge that this was going on. So I began cutting on myself at 14. I began self-harm. And if you know anything about self-harm, the purpose of it is to try to numb pain internally, right? You try to inflict pain outwardly to silence the pain inwardly, not knowing that all of this was affecting my mental health. So the question I want you to ask yourself today, I don't care where you are in life, what is affecting your mental health? For me, it was the divorce of my parents. For you, it could be class. It could be the pandemic. It could be failed expectations. It could be not reaching the level of success that you thought that you would, and maybe life kind of, humbled you a little bit, which is okay. So football became my safe space. I can inflict pain. I can punish people. There was no repercussions for what I can do to anybody on the field because I couldn't fight my stepdad. I couldn't drive to Mississippi and deal with my dad because I had all of this anger and all of this pain. And I want to fast forward. I go to college and I played college football 4 years, a 4-year starter. Later had my jersey retired. And I get to the NFL, it doesn't work out the way I anticipated. After that, it's the first time I attempted suicide. And I'm gonna fast forward a little bit later. 10 years later, or should I say right about 10 years later, I attempted suicide again, a drug overdose. Why am I sharing this? If you don't know what's affecting your mental health, it could become a detriment to your life. See, when football ended for me, I didn't have another safe space. I didn't know where I can find solace, solitude. Because just like you guys are out in that diamond, when you on the mound, when you standing out in left field or right field, center field, first or second base, it's where you feel alive. Football made me forget about the divorce. It made me forget about the abuse. It made me forget about the pain. But see, the reality of it is that you can't run from pain. So either two things will happen. Either you will learn how to manage pain, or you will become subject to the pain, and then you find yourself becoming a victim of your own devices. This is how we have addictions. This is how people get addicted to substance. I got to roll a blunt every day. I keeps it real when I'm speaking. I cannot start my day until I get high. Some people function because once I smoke and once I blow, it allows me to bring my level of anxiety that started at a 10, maybe I can just bring it down to a 4. And if I can bring it down to a 4, it'll help me manage my life. Because see, most of us, what we do is we spend most of our time trying to avoid pain. Because see, when you don't want to deal with pain, it begins to affect your mental health. It affects how you relate to people. It affects how you relate to yourself. It affects how you see yourself. And then we begin to dress it up and say, I'm good. This is what a lot of us do, especially when it comes to us men. I don't care what race you are. We all want to show that we're Superman, right? We got this S on our chest. But the reality of it was that Superman was this fictitious character that had to go back into the reality of being Clark Kent. See, Clark Kent had to deal with the reality that Superman was something that I created in my mind that allowed me to live outside of my pain. Some of you are sitting in the chairs right now. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what's going on in your life. But again, my question to you is, what is affecting your mental health? What's affecting how you process? How did you process the pandemic? Right? How did you process virtual learning? How did you process missing your senior season? How did you process getting injured? How did you process not having anybody to support you? How did you process not having the support of dad, not having the support of mom? How do you process those things? Because see, when we don't have healthy ways to process, we find ourselves indulging into unhealthy coping mechanisms. This is why you see this heighten of everything, right? Because nobody wants to deal with anything. But if you don't deal with your mental health, it's going to deal with you. Suicide is up. Right now, ages 16 to 24, especially amongst black males, suicide is the third leading cause of death. You know, I grew up in an era where suicide, they said, was a white thing. No, suicide is a people thing. See, depression is not racist. Anxiety is not racist. Suicide ideation is not racist. And I talk about these things, I share my story because, again, I don't know what your belief system is, and that's not any of my concern. But I know not everybody lives through a drug overdose. I was literally trying to kill myself because I did not know how to process pain. And I was in such a deep depression when football failed that I literally did not have anything else that I felt that I had to live for. The reason why I share my story so people can understand that you are beyond what you do. Because one day, the game will end, right? It would be great if all of you guys on that back row would go to the big leagues, right? It would be great if everybody could be, this person of influence. But see, what I didn't really have an understanding of, there was no Jay Barnett to share their real story because everybody was talking about the successes. And this is the thing that I kind of makes me cringe about this generation because we only talk about the successes. But the reality of it is that there's some stuff that hits you in your stomach that makes you feel like you don't want to get out of bed. Here I was, a guy with muscles, athletic. I even had a degree. So that tells me that you can have everything that they say you need to have and still not be happy. You can do everything right and things still not work out the way you want to. And the reason that your mental health is important is that you are able to grab the proper tools and the understanding that if something shifts in your life, that you're going to be okay. That if everything don't work out, there was nobody to tell me, son, you still have something to live for. It's okay. It's not so much because athletes, we get that when people's like, oh my God, it's just a game. No, it's not. Is it just a game? It's not just a game, is it? It's everything because you work your behind off. I can't say what I really want to say. Some church people in here, I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm just teasing. Just want to make it light. But You work so hard in the summer in the gym, eating right. You study so hard. So it's not just a game. It's what you pour your heart and soul in. But what I want each of you to understand is that as you're pouring your heart and soul into what you do, pour just as much or put just as much energy into how do you process when things don't go your way? How do you process when life says, nah, mama gonna get sick. Nah, you gonna fail this class. I ain't gonna let that Pell Grant go through. How do you deal with that? See, mental health is more than just depression. It's how do you break down what you're seeing? Because see, the whole time, man, check this out, guys. The whole time I kept thinking I had nothing to live for, I had everything to live for. But see, when depression is clouding your eyes, or when failed expectations, you had this idea how things were supposed to be, you was gonna, listen, because the only thing was in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm playing the league till I'm 30 years old, and I'm gonna, retire, whatever, and figure life out. And here I was, 24 years old, trying to like, dang, it's over. Because see, football is not like baseball. And I mentioned the baseball because we've got some baseball players in here. You play baseball till you're 45 years old. But football, 27, 28 years old, you're old already, especially playing running back. And so here I am, man. How am I going to figure out life? So I want you guys to take these notes down. Y'all got a phone? I know everybody has a phone. I'm going to give y'all five tools. Y'all athletes, young black kings, young white kings. I don't care what color you are, you kings. Young black queens, care what color you are. White, listen, when I call people kings and queens, it's not about history, it's a code of conduct. It is how you live, it is a mindset. Number one, it is not the end of the world. Number one, it's not the end of the world. How many times have something happen in your life and you made it like it was the end of the world? Be honest, I've done it. Oh, so I'm the only one? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Come on, shame the devil, Right? It's not the end of the world. Here's the second thing. Stop and process. Number two, stop and process. Here's the thing about mental health. Sometimes the things you're feeling, the feeling is real. However, your perspective on it may not have any validity to it. That's how anxiety works, in case you want to know how anxiety works. Have you ever had a fear of something and nothing has happened? You had a fear that something was going to happen, but you didn't have any evidence of something happening? Show of hands. Come on. Now, because I know Gen Z, that's y'all life. Oh my God, they ain't going to like me. There's no evidence. Stop and process. Number one, it's not the end of the world. Number two, stop and process. And what do I mean about process? Think, feel the emotion. That's number three. Feel the emotion. If you're going to master your mental health, you got to feel the emotion. Feel the pain. Here's the biggest issue in today's culture. They want to numb everything. Oh, I don't feel nothing. This is why there's so many unhealthy and toxic relationships. You see the memes. I'm catching flights, not feelings. Listen, let's be real. You want somebody to love you, man. You want somebody to like you. Come on, you can't live here and not catch feelings. But here's the thing. Why do we think catching feelings is such a bad thing? You know why? Because we don't want to be vulnerable. Because to be vulnerable means somebody got to see beyond your jersey. Somebody got to see beyond the chain. Somebody got to see beyond the outfit. They got to see the real you and not this representative that you show up and present, but the real you is no. This affected me. This hurt me. And let me tell you something. Pain is pain. I don't care what color you are. Some of y'all got some stuff that has happened in your life, and you're still trying to learn how to deal with it. And let me tell you something. You can smoke all the weed you want. You can drink all the drink you want. You cannot run from the pain until you deal with it. You got to feel the emotion. But when you feel the emotion, it's understanding that the emotion does not control your behavior. See, when you get to a place where you are mastering your mental health, you understand your emotions are to serve you. They're not to control you. Athletes, y'all know about that, because guess what? Do any of you want to play with somebody who can't control their emotions? They'll blow a game. They will blow an opportunity. And it's you young men, all of you, hear me clearly. You cannot get far in life if you do not manage your emotions, your testosterone, and your aggression. You have to learn how to manage those things. Young ladies, you cannot get far in life. You cannot manage your emotions, your estrogen. You have to learn how to manage those things. Because if you are not a good manager, you will become a slave to those things. You will become enslaved to not being able to manage your emotions. Not everything deserves a response. Not everything deserves a response. That's also part of managing your mental health. Why engage with people who are disturbing your peace? You know how many times I look down at my phone and let them know that I read it? Yes, I read it. I'm not responding. Because you know why? That's a boundary. Number 4, set healthy boundaries. And I'm giving you tools on how to master your mental health. Set healthy boundaries. Learn how to say no. Especially you young men, because I see a lot of you guys are going down the road of performance. Y'all got to perform. We got to perform for the gram. We got to perform for this girl. You got to perform for this person. Learn how to say no and be settled. Because once you start overperforming, you're going to always find yourself empty. And all my life, that's all I was doing, trying to perform, trying to get daddy acceptance, trying to get daddy's validation, trying to get daddy to say that I was good enough. And the moment that I heard a no, I felt that life was over. Green Bay was like, no, not today. And I felt like, excuse me, come again? I just spent the last 7 years of my life working for this opportunity, and you telling me no? And it drove me to attempting suicide. And let me be honest with you. It had nothing to really do with the no. It had everything to do with the pain that I was concealing. Because to not play football anymore meant that I had to deal with the pain. And that's number 5. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with the young people. This generation will run to a substance within a drop of a dime. You got to deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. It's not by happenstance that we have this opioid issue in our country. And what the pandemic did, the pandemic made everybody look at themselves because you couldn't run. You had to sit at home. It made married people have to live with each other. Catch that. It made them have to live with each other. Because when you're in your work mode and you got your life going on, we may see each other a couple of hours. We're not really living. We're just existing. The pandemic made you have to look at yourself like, dang, you can't flex for the gram now. The pandemic made you have to look at yourself and say, hey, who are you really? Like you put on all year, and the pandemic says, oh, nah, we're going to shut the country down. All the filters that you were using, now you got to look at the real you. How are you going to show up in life? And how you show up in life is going to determine your mental health. And I love to break it down in this manner because people always think of mental health. I'm saying, no, it's based on these three elements: physical, mental, and emotional. How do you deal with your feelings? How do you deal with when things hurt your feelings? My man with the red hoodie on, I'm going to the audience. How do you deal when something hurts your feelings? What do you do, honestly? Yes, sir, you. Yeah. Are you quiet when you get hurt? Yeah, do you get quiet when you get hurt? Do you talk? Who do you talk to? Okay, that's good. Okay. So you process through your mom? Okay, good. What about you, young man, sitting next to him, the white hoodie on? Yeah. Here's what I want you guys to start doing, especially young men. So I wrote this book, and it came out last month. It's called Just Heal, Bro, and it is a journal for men, young men. And this is I'm big on journaling, and this is what really pulled me through. Grab you something where you can start to write. This will help you to express. A man that has a voice is a man that can speak for himself. A man that has a voice, I want y'all to catch that, is a man that can speak for himself. Find your voice. Write down how you feel. Write down how something makes you process or think. I encourage everybody, because here's what we've been taught, and especially when it comes to males. We've been taught, just be quiet and keep working. Do you know how many men that have died because of that? They just kept working, especially athletes, because we try to outwork everything. Y'all know how we do it as athletes. Soon we get frustrated, we go to the gym. Dude, I'm going to go for a 5-mile run, right? 5 miles turning to 10 miles. My man laughing, I'm real, keeping it real. And here's what happened. You done ran 10 miles and that issue's still right there. You done went in the gym, you done threw around all them people dumbbells. You got them dumbbells out of order. You got sweat all on these people machines. And it's still right there. You done punched, listen, I'm telling you, bro, I had so many holes in my walls coming up as kids. My mom just started putting pictures over all of them. Because I had such anger issues. And let me tell you something. When you don't deal with that stuff now, I assure you it's going to show up in a relationship. Boys who cannot control their anger become abusive men. Girls who cannot control their anger become abusive women, because I don't want to make this one-sided, because I'm a therapist. I've seen some abusive women. You have to gain control of you. But the only way you can gain control of you is to spend time with you. Shut down your Instagram. Take social media breaks. Sit in silence sometime. Listen to your thoughts. See what you're thinking. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself based on where you come from? Do you see yourself based on who your parents are, your environment? How do you see yourself? Because how you see yourself, that's how you're going to show up. I got to tell people, this guy walked in and he just shot up the place. You know what I start asking? Tell me about his patterns. Well, he was quiet. He never talked to people. Red, not a red flag, but in my world, okay. People don't just wake up and snap. And this generation is having more mental breakdowns than any other generation that we've ever seen. And I don't want to bore you guys with a bunch of statistics, but I'm just wanting to keep it as transparent as I possibly can. Take care of you. Take care of your body. You can't lay with everybody. Again, this is a different generation. I'm going there. Manage you. The issue that we have right now, these young people, they sleep with everybody. There's no boundaries. Oh, she got a booty. Let me go on. Hey, big dog, she with it, bro. Bro, she slid in my DM. Man, have boundaries. Everything that's accessible is not permissible. Have a boundary where you said, no, that's not me. Be able to walk away from something. Because when you start, again, I'm going there. When you start entangling with all these different people, you find out you depressed, you staring out the window. All of a sudden, you was on your way to, making a dean list, doing good in class. Now all of a sudden, man, bro, you listen to all this sad music, because y'all music is sad, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Ooh, Jesus. I listen. I love all these young artists, but God dang it, y'all need to see a therapist, man. Everything. Man, I miss my dog. He never shot me. Like, bro, are you ever happy? And just think if you listen to that all day, and you was in a good mood until you messed with that girl. You was in a good mood until you started messing with that dude. All that stuff messes with your mental health. I have people in my office, I kid you not, people in my office that are entangled with people, and I'm asking them, were you ever depressed? Were you ever suicidal? No, well, I started dating this dude, and he was just, I just felt like there was this bond that we had. Girl, there was an attachment. That was an attachment. And now his stuff is yours. Because anytime you have sex with people, you exchanging energy with these people. You can believe that or not. And again, listen, trust me. There's people dating that's schizophrenic from all the folks that they done been with, don't know what's going on. They all over the place. How many of y'all, you know what, you ain't got to raise your hand. How many of y'all know somebody that every time they come around you, they all over the place? Man, bro, man, I think I'm going to be an engineer, man. Man, you know what, I want to sell cars, man. Man, all over the place. They changing majors every other week. Get to know you. Settle in yourself. And I want to show y'all something, because I believe in divine happenings. It's not by coincidence that it's mostly young males in this session right now. I want y'all to look at that. I want y'all to look at that. And where's the challenge at? In young men. White guys are killing themselves. Black guys are killing themselves. Hispanic guys are killing themselves. Suicide is up. I've had 3 kids that I work with take their lives in the past year. 2 homeboys. 2 former NFL players, 27 and 29 years old. One drove into a river and one OD'd. Athletes. And not everything is suicide at your hand. Sometimes just checking out a life and choosing not to show up. You guys matter, man. And if you can stabilize your mental health, And we're going to start from number 5. You can deal with it to be able to ask yourself, okay, how is this affecting my grades? How is this affecting my relationship? How is it affecting just my overall life? Okay, let me go to number 4. Did I set boundaries? I don't answer my phone until after 10 o'clock in the morning, a.m. Because now I move my practices virtual. So I don't go in the office no more, so I only see people virtually. My mother can call at 9:30. I would not answer that phone. Real talk. Because I know if I answer this phone, my anxiety gonna go up high, sky high. Because King, guess what your sister did? Man, I tell you, the kids are just, I can't do it. That's a boundary. And she knows it. She knows it. She called me between the hours of 10 and 3. And she'll call at night. I don't answer my phone after 6 o'clock. Can't do it. That's a boundary. Because I don't want to start my day off with, because my mom is like the news. I'm going to hear about my aunts. I'm going to hear about their kids. I'm going to hear about what's going on with this vaccine. I'm going to hear about what Joe Biden doing. I can't do it, bro. I can't start my day off like that. And guess what? I can't end my day like that. So whatever she got to get in, she know, well, King, I know it's your cutoff time for me to talk to you. Yep. That's a boundary. And I hold tight to it. And guess what? If she calls, like she called the other night, because I'll be on the road for the next 2 weeks, and I didn't answer. Guess what she did? Text. Well, just let me know when you get to the airport. She know what time it is. I can't do it. And I'm telling you, I'm the only boy. You know, I got all sisters. But I had to set that boundary for my own mental space. Because before I had set that boundary, I'm a therapist that go to therapy, right? So I was telling my therapist one time, I was like, man, my therapist like, Jay, what's going on, man? I said, Jesus, dude, my mom, man. I said, man, dude, it's just like it's a lot. And he says, well, have you set a boundary? I said, man, because I'm being honest, right? I'm the only boy, so I'm like, can't tell my mom no. And he says, Jay, it's healthy to tell even your mom no. He said, how it is affecting you. I was like, dude, I can't think. Because when she calls in the morning, man, like she just goes on a rant. And my mom is the lady, like, you can't get 2 words in. Hey, did you see what they're doing with the vaccine? Boy, they talking about they're going to take people's job and you don't get the vaccine. And if you don't people ain't going to be able to work. And I'm like, Mama, I know, but that don't really bother me. But Jay, I'm telling you, Jay, you better get that vaccine, son, because you ain't going to be able to travel. You know what? I talked to your sister the other day, and they talking about they're going to paint the kitchen. And I'm just like, man, Mama, come on. Because, see, I'm going to tell y'all something, guys. I'm going to give y'all a life hack. Women talk circular. Men, linear. Me and my man, we make eye contact. We know it's direct, right? That's why ESPN work for us. We know what's happening next. Hey, top 10 coming next. What do you say? Hey, let me go grab some drink. Top 10 coming next. They're going to talk about baseball. They're going to talk about football. Like, that's how we work. Women is here, and I'm like, land the plane, please. Because when they're talking to you, they want you to hear the experience. I don't want the experience. Give me the outcome. That's why ESPN work for us, because they're going to give us a score. They're going to give us a little bit, you know what I mean? A TiVo hit 2 home runs. Boom. Astros win 3-2. Next. It's not, well, they walked them in the 7th inning, and then they hit them in the 8th. No, man. And that was a boundary, man. And when I set that boundary, my life did this. And guess what? Here's what setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. When you don't have boundaries, you're telling people that you don't have any respect for yourself. You can't call me after certain hours, even in dating. Girl I date knows, hey, I can't talk after 10. You better get these words in, but before 9:30, it's a wrap. Because I like to shut down my day. I like to rest so I can be my best self. Catch me between these hours. And when you begin to set these boundaries, you will see life has more structure. And when your life has more structure, guess what? You can stabilize your mental health. You can't stabilize your mental health in chaos. Some of you are trying to do too much. Somebody asked me the other day on social media, what do you think about dating multiple people? I can't do it. Like these kids, like some of y'all dudes, y'all doing a lot. Y'all got 2 and 3 girls y'all talking to. You in these 2 DMs, you got class with this. Like, that drives me crazy. I like order, but setting those boundaries, then feel the emotion, think and process. And back to number 1, no matter what happens in your life, guys, you can always think your way through. It's not the end of the world. See, I wanted to put a twist on mental health because let me tell you, I speak about mental health, how many times, Hope? I do about 2 to 3 national interviews with athletes, celebrities, and I put a different spin on it every time because it can be heavy talking about depression, it can be heavy talking about the pandemic, and I like to adjust to the audience or to adjust to the group of people that I'm speaking to. And so I hope something that I said today, man, for you guys really help you. I'm going to open it up for questionings, and I want you guys to ask questions, especially you athletes, because it's a lot of pressure to be an athlete, especially y'all baseball players, because baseball is such a mental game. Because for 5 years, I had a performance company where I work with all type of athletes. Because you can go into a hitting slump, and that'll drive you crazy, right? How do you come out of that? So, my man right here, I'm going to let you ask a question with the yellow shirt on, the dreads. Look like Jacquez. Just as long as you ain't, oh my gosh, dude. And then that guy had the nerve to say he was a king of R&B. Can you believe that? Yeah. Hey, like, hold on, Miles Davis. Yes, sir, he gonna give you a mic. Yeah, come on. Give me a good question. Or tell me what you learned. What you learned from this talk? It wasn't a lecture, because this is like, less than 30 minutes. So.
To think everything through.
Huh?
Think everything through.
Yeah, well, what does that mean to you?
Don't just react.
Good. Respond. I'm going to give you another word. Don't react, respond.
Yeah.
Reactionary is knee-jerk. So reactionary is I hit you, you hit me back. Response is I hit you, and then you think about what you're going to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Respond everything, because again, it's almost like when you're playing football, right? The guy push you, and then you push back. The ref sees you when you push back.
And you get a flag.
But it's having the emotional intelligence. And I want you guys to write this word down, all of y'all. Write down emotional intelligence and research it and study that. If you can learn it, if you can master emotional intelligence, this will help you go far in life. All right, hand the mic to one of those guys, one of the baseball players. This guy. Come on, man. You play first base?
Nuh-uh.
What?
Outfield.
Outfield? Okay. What's your 60?
It's like 6'5".
Okay, all right.
All right. Don't let your emotions build up. Is what I learned today.
Yeah. Do you let your emotions build up?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And when they build up, what do they drive you to do?
I don't
Do you shut down?
Nah, I go work out.
You go work out.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I told you. One thing about athletes, they're gonna go work out. But here's what's your name, man?
Trey.
Trent?
Yeah.
So what I would encourage you to do is when you feel your emotions building up, just start writing them down. Just start writing them down. Working out is a good tool. It's a good habit, but writing them down will help you to put words to what you're actually feeling. Because, working out is good, but it's also teaching you how to numb what you feel. Because you can take that pre-workout and you can forget about everything. Yeah, you look like you take pre-workout too. Yeah, Trent. He take the pre-workout just dry, just scoop it right out of the thing, no water. Dude, give me 2 scoops. Like, what? All right, give me somebody else on y'all squad, man. But that's good, though, y'all. I like what you guys are gathering.
I had a question.
Okay, yes, sir.
Like, what motivated you to tell people your story and be a therapist?
Oh, that's a good question, man. So I give you guys a briefing. So the second suicide attempt, my godmother found me under the bed, right? And I called my mother, and it was it was just one of those periods, man, where I had just this downward spiral. And I told my mother, I had that last conversation that I was having with my mother, and I said, I'm done. I said, I don't want to be here. I want to, because my family was a church family, and it's just oh, can we pray? And I'm like, man, something else is going on. And after I lived through that, man, and got in therapy and started dealing with a lot of my childhood trauma. I had a lot of trauma from my childhood. And also what I realized as an athlete, I can't remember anybody ever coming to talk to us about mental health, right? Because, you only had coaches, hey, can you go? Can you go? And I remember in college, man, I remember guys that had this one guy, mom passed away from cancer. And the coach said he was sorry. But then 2 days later, the coach was like, hey, can you play this Saturday? And I'm like, what? This dude, mom just died. So you're not even letting this man grieve. And what I realized is that athletes were probably some of the most underserved individuals in sports, and males, because no one paid attention to athletes, period. And I'm talking about across the board, basketball, football, baseball. And then you started reading all these stories of athletes who were committing suicide. And then there were people that I knew. And I'd never forget when Junior Seau committed suicide. His teammate was a close friend of mine. And I was just like, dude, this is crazy. And that really encouraged me because I saw so many men living in silence, that they were taught to be these heroic heroes and be these phenomenal athletes, but no one wanted to hear how they felt as a human being. And that's what encouraged me, because y'all know how it is. Athletes there's a language as an athlete, but then there's a language that I speak as a man that other men can relate to. And that's what really pushed me, because when I started talking, a lot of my guys that I played was like, bro, I've been feeling the same thing, dude. I've been trying to figure out life after football. I've been trying to figure out life after baseball, because I was surrounded. I've always been surrounded by athletes. And all of us were trying to figure out our life after sports, but there was nobody to help us. Because trying to figure out life after sports is like coming back after serving in a war and you trying to fit back into regular civilian life. It's hard. And so that's what really motivated me, man, to share my story and to help athletes and just men in general to be able to have space to be able to talk. Because what we do is we allow our talking, you talk through your bat. I talk through my helmet. I would put this helmet in your chest, and I got a rush out of it, because in my mind, this is payback for what my dad did. That was my mindset. And then when football was over, like, dang, how am I going to cope now with life? And I didn't have any healthy coping skills. And I was the type of person, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't drink, cutting. So my first suicide attempt, I was like 22, 23 years old, cutting on myself. And self-harm was something that I came familiar with. So everybody have their own different devices, but no one ever, and man, let me tell you, I come from a family of pro athletes. And not one, I got 7 uncles. One uncle played in the NFL, 2 cousins played in the NFL. Not one of them reached back and to talk to me how I'm talking to you. I didn't have this. So that's why I do it now. Because the truth of the matter is, we don't know whose life being saved right now. Because you see people, I've seen guys 6'5", muscled up, and you look at the outside, what could be wrong with that guy? He looks great. He's got everybody liking him. And go home, blow his brains out. And everybody's like, what was wrong with TJ? He looked so happy. Everybody loved him. But we never knew what he was dealing with inside. So that's why I started sharing my story. It's a great question, my brother. Anybody else?
How was your family when you started playing sports in high school? You had support around you? You had people supporting you?
No, I only had my mom when I was playing sports. And my mom wasn't a sports person. She would, she was working, it was 3 of us, so, it was really just trying to, just figure it out. And I'm the type of person, I've always loved to be coached. I love mentors. And the only support I had was other teammates' parents that knew that I was good. And they was like, hey, you gonna go to college and play? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just playing on Friday night to stay alive so I don't kill this dude I'm staying with that my mom's married to. So that was, I didn't really have any support, man. Is support big to you? Is support big to you?
A little bit.
Why? What? Don't be afraid. Why? It's important to you, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, why?
It just motivated me.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And this is why sessions like this, because you shouldn't feel bashful by saying that support means a lot to you. That's a good thing. Because the truth be told, I don't care how good you are. You want to feel supported in what you do. Because it makes you feel like you have belonging. I used to play my butt off Friday night. My dad only saw me play 2 college games, no pro games. 2 college games and 1 high school game. And I remember looking in the stands and looking at all the other guys with their dad, man. I remember crying on the sideline. And I remember my coach was like, JJ, what's wrong with you? And I was like in tears. It's like, what's wrong with you? And I set out that series, and he was just like, I need you to get your ass in gear, get out there. And I was just like, bro, shut up, man. And he was like, sit down. So he made me sit for like 2 series. And I didn't care because that pain hit me. Like what you were saying, I realized, dang, I don't have nobody in these stands. That hurts. So if that's important to you, man, verbalize that, even to your family. Say, hey, guys, it would be nice to have somebody to support me and to get behind me in whatever I'm choosing to do. Because, see, it's when men feel supported, we feel pushed. And listening to the word you said feel motivated. So that's a big deal to you. Verbalize that. And even when you choose a mate, spouse, whatever it is. Because, see, most of the time we choose out of our deficits. I ain't gonna get too churchy because I can go deep on y'all real quick. We choose out of our deficits. So you choose from the areas of lack. If you had attachment or abandonment issues, you choose people who need you because there's a level of codependency. So I'm probably sure you date.
Yes.
Yep. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm gonna be, yes. Like, wow. Girlfriend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of girl is she?
Black.
Dude, I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about character.
She's a good girl. She go to school.
She's what?
She go to school for nursing.
What did you say at first?
She's a good girl.
Okay, I thought you said something else. I thought you said she was encouraging or something. Anyway, go ahead.
She go to school for nursing.
Okay, what else?
She funny.
Okay, what else?
She make me feel comfortable. I guess.
What else?
She a family person too. And
She
I
has what?
She's a family person. She
Family
likes to-
person. And what does her family do for her?
They support her.
All right, I'm going home. What I just tell you, you choose out of the deficit. What you don't have, you get through her. Next question. I can come back and do a whole seminar for that. But what's your name, King? Nomar? Like Nomar Garcia? Okay. That's a good thing. But here's what I want you to do. I know you like how her family support you, but don't become a codependent on her. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, you read what I'm saying, right? Because it can become an attachment where you like what she get rather than what she provides to you. Because it's two different entities. So if you're wanting a relationship to grow, focus on who she is to you rather than what she gets from her family because you don't get it. And what you do is you allow the support that she gives to you, right, to be the motivation that you don't get from the family. Does that make sense? All right. Yes, sir. So you got something today, brother. You all that, yeah. Like, come on, man. Come on, where you from? Okay, all right. DR. I was supposed to go to DR, man, but COVID, you know. But my mom told me, get the vaccine. You can go to DR. Should have answered that call.
I just have one question. You've given a lot of good information, especially for the young men and young women. My question is simply this. For individuals who may be the family or friends of someone who they see is struggling in their mental health, what advice would you give on how to support them through that process?
So that's a great question. What I do is, even as a therapist, I always allow the client to take me to that place. You see how I use his case? I allow him to discover the answer in us talking rather than me giving him the answer. So what I'm saying is, I met him where he was. So anytime that we're supporting family members, we always think support has to be, what can I do? What can I give? And sometimes the support is just meeting them where they are. Because most people don't know that they need help until they're in a place where they don't know what help looks like. And so sometimes just being a voice, and a listening ear, rather than being a voice. And so if you have somebody that has a mental health issue, somebody that's struggling mentally, it's just supporting them. And I think when we can just learn how to support and I'm here. And sometimes that's really just what they're needing. And once that is established, then you can begin to address the need. Because oftentimes we're trying to create a space with people who have not developed trust with us. I never expect a client to come in and open up to me on the first day. I don't. Like, I usually ask about everything about what's going on because I want to develop rapport, I want to develop that safety, and I also want them to develop trust. And then I also want them to understand I'm not the expert in this space. You know, I'm just an expert in the process. You're the expert in the story. So even listening to them, like, hey, like what do you have going on? And you can ask roundabout questions, like, so I'm gonna go back to Nomar for an example. So when I listen in waves, so when he asked a question about support, that told me not only what support meant to him, but what was important and what was a priority in his life. Because I can probably imagine you being from another country, being over here, you probably don't have the support, do you? So then the next question, I asked him about dating strategically. Because if you don't have support from your family, you're going to find it somewhere. And so, and it just kind of, you don't have to be a therapist, but just ask questions without being direct at times that'll kind of lead you to kind of, oh, that's where they are. And once you find out where they are, then you can advocate for them. So I just made you a therapist, so I just gave you a 4.5-year degree in 2 minutes. Yeah. Got another brother asking a question. All right.
So you said that you write in the journal. How often, do you write?
I journal probably like a couple days a week. Yeah, a couple days a week, and I can't do it every day because my journaling, man, kind of gets. It don't get heavy, but I'm be transparent. So the therapist I had, I don't have a therapist right now, so I'm doing more journaling than I probably have in a long time. My therapist ended up having some stuff happen, so they could no longer work with me. So now I'm kind of journaling more than I normally do. But when I have a therapist, I probably journal less because I can go to them and process. But yeah, I journal a couple of days a week. And when you're journaling, try to sit quiet so you can hear your thoughts. So try not to journal while the TV on or anything like that. So either early in the morning or right before bed. That's a good question, man. Proud of you guys, man. Y'all asking questions. Yeah. We have a question down here. You play golf, man, with that filters hat on? Yeah? What's your handicap? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. You play for the school or you just play for leisure? Oh, okay. All right.
Jay Barnett.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You call my name like you my mom. Jay Barnett.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm Ava, also known as Ava the Aviator.
Yes, I know you. Ava,
yes, you do. That's why I say your name like that.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a question. First of all, I just want to say I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Especially from knowing where
I've known
came
Ava. How
from.
long, Ava?
Maybe 7 or 8. I don't know.
Yeah, 8 years.
I don't know. But I'm proud because I know where you were and to watch your journey. Has been amazing.
You see when folks trying to rush you off, he waving the phone. I see you, man.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm messing with you. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll ask my question. You were speaking about your mom and how you had to learn how to set boundaries. And I understand, generationally with a lot of our men, especially with them, a lot of them being raised by their moms. And even on the feminine side, I had to learn how to find my own voice outside of my mom's because a lot of our parents had their own trauma that they went through. Mm-hmm. And so they're raising us through that trauma brain, and it's a lot of chaos, it's a lot of craziness. and you have to find yourself. So
Yes.
the question I wanted to ask, because I know that there are a lot of people probably here who had to find their, or have to find their voice outside of the trauma that their parents may be putting on them currently. So I would like you to speak to the process of how you pushed past that loud voice, because the mother's voice, that's like the
Yeah, that's the
loudest
loudest voice.
voice
Yeah.
that it just permeates, it goes inside of you and it takes yours out sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you get past that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ava. I think, and two, especially for you, how many of you, your mom is alive, y'all? And by show of hands, is your mom kind of overbearing at times? My man, like, so, and what Ava's asking is, how do you process through, because sometimes a mother's voice can be so loud that you can't make decisions for yourself. And if you're going to begin to sever that tie, you're going to have to find your voice. And the process for finding your voice is being able to identify with what you feel when you engage with mom, when you engage with dad. Because there are some dads can be overbearing, right? There's some dads can be like, hey, man, chill out. You're not playing anymore. You know what I mean? So it can be a lot. But you have to identify. One of the things that helped me in therapy was I was able to identify, like, when my mom brought things to me, I often felt like I couldn't speak for myself. I felt like I could not elaborate on why I made the decision, right or wrong or indifferent, because parents always think they knows what's best, right? And again, this is not discounting or negating the parents' opinion or suggestions or their input, but finding your voice so you can feel confident enough about the decisions that you make for your life. So that process is that once you begin to filter through, okay, how does it make me feel when I bring something to mom and she already has an answer for me? And it just felt like I couldn't make any decisions by myself. So it made me feel inadequate as a young man, because I'm like, all right, here I am, 25, 27, 28 years old, and my mom is telling me, I don't like this person you're dating. Well, you're not dating them. And again, and if it doesn't work out, I have to live with that it doesn't work out, rather than having to hear, I told you that girl wasn't good, I told you. And so for me, it was going through the process of, why are you afraid to have a voice in conversations with her? Because as Ava was saying, most of us grew up in family dynamics where our parents didn't have a voice. So us having a voice is triggering to them. So when you give feedback, they interpret it as talking back. When you give feedback, they interpret it as disrespect. But what it is that it's communication. This can't be one-sided. So if you're going to enhance your ability to communicate, finding your voice is going to be critical. To where you can be in a conversation, Mom, Dad, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, your feelings, but I'm going to take the time and I'll make the decision that's best for me. And the more you do that, you will begin to become more confident in your voice. Because the last thing you want is to have a life that's being controlled by a parent. Because the objective is not to continue to stay connected to the parent. The objective is to build a life beyond your parents. Y'all catch that? It's to build a life beyond. Because that's healthy family dynamic. And I had to tell my mom one day, man, boy, I almost had to run out the house, and I told her, I said, Mom, you will always be my mother, but you're no longer my parent. And she didn't understand that. Because, see, you're my parent if I'm at home and you taking care of the bills, but, you know, I pay the bills over here in Dallas. And she didn't understand that dynamic, but I said, no, listen to what I'm saying. You would never stop being my mother, but at this age, as a man, I'm able to make decisions for myself. And if it don't work, it don't work. What did I say number one was? It's not the end of the world. And as you begin to trust yourself more, that gives confidence, because the moment that you start to allow the influence, parents, friends, and other people, man, it's going to drive your mental health, your anxiety all through the roof. You won't be able to go to the bathroom. Hey, Mom, I was thinking about going to the bathroom. You think it's a good time? So it's healthy, guys, to start creating those healthy boundaries to finding your voice. Because finding your voice in your family dynamic is going to allow you to find your voice in life, period. So when you are in relationship with somebody, you don't have to be sitting in the house not talking to somebody and y'all mad at each other. I don't get that. But if you don't feel like you can have a voice now, you'll be afraid to talk to your wife, your husband. You'll be afraid to talk because you feel like you're going to be shut down. So hope that answered your question. Anyway, guys, I think that's my time. The guy's still waving the phone back there. You still waving the phone, sir? Now he talking to somebody else. Judge Mathis. Oh, he looked like Judge Mathis. Yeah, Judge Mathis. You say you bought the crack for $30? Use a crackhead. Oh, how y'all doing? Oh.
I want your mic. How many of you think we need to bring Jay Barnett back? Ask him to come back. Yeah? Y'all think that's a good move? Anybody out there want one of these?
Give it to that brother. Raise his hand right here.
The one that raised his hand first? Okay, I tell you what y'all do.
So what if we do this? If I send those books back for all the young men attending, how would they be able to get them?
Well, we were going to get the ring, so that's what was coming out here to say.
I got you.
We got that.
Can you just kind of,
Yeah, let me step off.
okay. I'm going to get
Judge
this back
Mathis
to
told me, listen, that's what we was going to do anyway.
So, I was instructed, the young man in the black T-shirt, yes, that I should give you this. But if you will allow me, what I'd like to do is make sure I take care of all your colleagues. Can we do that? Okay, so how many folk want one of these? That's everybody? I tell you what you do. If you give your name, is Miss Tracy around?
Well, Ms. Tracy actually works with the athletic team.
Okay.
So she knows who they are. That's what their foundation. Yeah, Ms. Tracy works with them, so.
Make sure.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Jones, thank you.
Yes.
If we can find out how many by tomorrow, check in by noon tomorrow. Everybody who checks in, Dr. Jones, you'll let them know with whom. We'll get you a copy. All right? That'll work? Great. This has been amazing. On behalf of Recast Baton Rouge, the Office of the Mayor President, the Honorable Sharon Weston Broom, and I'm telling y'all, Professor Clarence Nero, I know, give it up. Yeah. Started planning this for you a couple of months ago. And he kept coming back with, I want to get, what do you think? And my thought was, do it. This is wonderful. So if I can hear an echo in this room, meaning y'all give me a good shout, I'ma know that we need to continue this with Professor Nero. I cannot thank you enough. He is responsible. I'm a generation removed, so I didn't know the magic word to say to get you to do that, but that's what I was looking for. So When you see him on campus, help me thank him for putting this together. And we're not going to stop here. We're going to continue to bring programs. We are so excited about the collaboration between BRCC and the mayor's office in terms of helping enhance the quality of your life. And it's not about the stuff, the things we can put in your hand. It's about how we can help you deal with the issues that come out of your minds and your hearts. And that's what we want to do. So thank you for being with us today. This really concludes our program. Professor Nero, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Plummer. Give her a round of applause. She's with the mayor's office, to Mayor Sharon Weston Broome and the recast for the grant and supporting our students. We just want to say thank you, and thank you all for, this has been going on for a couple of years, where we've started with Voices and look where we've come to now, and it's been great. It's been a great partnership. I'm very honored. I'm very humble. I give the glory to God because it is because of him all this is made possible. On Jay Barnett, give it up for him. He was amazing. And all the speakers, from the actor Lamont Rucker to Matt West and Matt Cook, and all the singers that came through over the course of the past 3 days. From Sunday, this event kicked off at a gospel concert. We have American Idol finalists from The Voice, and just a group of amazing people who came here with you in mind. They wanted to inspire, uplift, and empower you because they know that many of you are dealing with a lot. I know because I'm a teacher. My students are emailing me all the time, and they're telling me what they're going through because of the pandemic, because of the hurricane. I cannot remember a time growing up where I had to deal with all of that at one time. Where all of that was going on, and I had to still go to school and get my lesson. That's hard. That's hard for anybody, but I certainly know that it's hard for you. And as a teacher, my goal is to try to inspire, empower my students, and I wanted to bring that out of the classroom to all of you, all the students at Baton Rouge Community College. So I assembled these amazing people to come here and to do that, and I think they did a great job. On behalf of the Chancellor, Willie Smith, all the Vice Chancellors, who've come out, Dr. Jones, all of you who came out over the course of the last 3 days. We appreciate all the faculty. There were a lot of faculty who bought their classes, my colleagues who worked with me, all of my colleagues who came together. Thank you, the Vice Chancellor Smith and Ms. Tracy from the BRCC Foundation, behind the scenes, who are working to help put all this together. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Come out here, Ms. Tracy. It's not just me behind the scenes. This lady right here does a lot of work to make this happen. I just wanted to acknowledge her, and I'm gonna let her speak for the foundation, because she is with the BRCC Foundation. They play a very pivotal role in bringing program and funding to the college, right? So, like I said, thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Professor Nero. I guess on behalf of BRCC Foundation and VC Smith, I just want to thank everybody for coming out, especially our athletes. I know you may have to interrupt your practice. Some of y'all may be late for practice. Some of y'all, this was short notice, but we really felt like this was something important that you needed to actually hear, and not only just from us, but from an actual athlete, so that way you can hear the message, see the message, and know how somebody else has overcame from that message. So we definitely appreciate you all for coming out. Like Dr. Plummer said, there's going to be more to come with the Resiliency Summit, as well as with BRCC Partnership and BRCC Foundation. So stay on the lookout for different things that are coming. And once again, we appreciate you all for coming today.
And I would like to say, when I was just telling the guy backstage, the sound guy, none of this happens. A production, when you have a production, the lighting, the sound, all of it matters. So give it up for our sound crew and technicians. Steve Mitchell, who's taping this. This is going to be taped for a virtual conference. It's going to air on Metro 21, so you could get on Facebook and Instagram when we get ready to announce that, and let all your friends and family know to watch that. We appreciate all of the sound technicians, all the people working behind the scenes. Thank you. Okay.
Last words.
Last words.
Oh, that was it. Last words. So, no, guys, thank y'all for listening today, man. I hope something that I said really help you guys to really become better overall human beings. Remember, man, just as much as you're performing, whether it's school or sports, always check in with your humanity, meaning check in with you. And guys, be blessed. Much success to you guys on your school endeavors, your sports endeavors, and I look forward to coming back. Thank you, guys.
Hello, my name is Phil Smith, Vice Chancellor for Advancement and Executive Director of BRCC Foundation. I want to thank you for joining us today, and for more information, visit www.brccf.org. And remember, dreams do come true.